This is the morning of the 6th of August, 2024. You folks need to listen to this, and if you know how to reach Trump, send him a copy. This was written by Lex Green, published August the 6th, put up on News with Views, where reality shatters illusion. Title, Trust Must Challenge Harris's Eligibility. The insanity rapidly destroying the U.S. has gone on long enough, and if it's not properly addressed in the 2024 election cycle, this country will never be of, by, or for legal U.S. citizens ever again. The nonsensical legal standing rule in the unconstitutional British common law courts used to deny legal citizens access to the courts on procedural rule allows for any presidential candidate to challenge another candidate on the grounds of constitutional eligibility. There are only 3 constitutional requirements for any Oval Office candidates in Article 2 of the U.S. Constitution. 1. No person except a natural-born citizen or a citizen of the United States at the time of the adoption of this Constitution. 2. Neither shall any person be eligible to the office who shall not have attained to the age of 35 years. 3. And been 14 years a resident within the United States. That's it. 3 very simple basic requirements for anyone seeking to serve as President and Commander-in-Chief of the United States. The 12th Amendment rightly applies the same condition to the office of Vice President, as the Vice President is first in line to ascend to the presidency, as in the case of the JFK assassination. U.S. law makes each political party responsible for vetting their candidates and certifying them as eligible for the office being sought. You mean like when Nancy Pelosi said that half-baked coon with the floppy ears and the pockmarked face, she was eligible? She needs to be tried for treason. Before putting them forward, neither party has complied in recent years. These conditions are unique to the office of President and Vice President only. No other political office in the U.S. requires one to be, quote, a natural-born citizen, end of quote, of the United States, drawing the intentional distinction between citizen and quote-unquote natural-born citizen. Camel face on her knees, Kamala Harris. Born in 1964, Kamala Harris met the second condition of at least 35 years of age, and to the best of my knowledge, she had been a legal resident within the U.S. for the last 14 years, meeting the third requirement as well. But what about condition number 1, often referred to as quote-unquote the natural-born citizen clause? Well, that depends what you think of a natural-born citizen is and who you choose to believe on the matter today. Due entirely to political agendas, the term has been intentionally convoluted in recent years with the concerted effort to open up the Oval Office occupation to non-natural-born citizen agents or foreign interests and globalist agendas. As a result, most Americans are not sure what the term really means today, including Trump. If you want to get something wrong in our country today, just ask an expert for their opinion. Fact checkers aren't really fact checkers. The news agenda isn't really news. Social media is the bastion of propaganda, and academia has been undermining constitutional truth for over 200 years now. Now you have to do your own homework on this one, like I have. I'm not asking you to trust my opinion. I'm asking you to consider my findings, research it yourself, and draw your own conclusions. Point number 1. Clearly, because the natural-born citizen requirement only exists in one place and only pertains to one public office, there must be something special about a natural-born citizen, as opposed to just a citizen. So what is special about this type of citizen? What is the distinction? Fundamentally, there are only 2 types of legal citizens in the United States under U.S. law. A citizen by nature, true birthright citizenship, a citizen by legislative process, naturalized citizenship via legislative action, which includes native-born citizens via the legal concept jus soli. While there are a number of methods within our immigration and naturalization laws for a non-natural-born citizen, type 2 above, to acquire legal citizenship in the U.S., all of them are part of the U.S. naturalization law, including the 14th Amendment. In the case of the 14th Amendment naturalization language, all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to its jurisdictions are citizens of the United States and of the state wherein they reside. The amendment only refers to citizen, not natural-born citizen, and that's because it's a form of naturalized citizenship via legislative process based upon the legal theory known as jus soli. Quote, a rule that the citizenship of a child is determined by the place of its birth, legally speaking, isn't the opposite of natural-born citizenship. Again, fundamentally, one has acquired legal citizenship via any legislative process, such as adopted constitutional amendments or naturalized codes, is a naturalized citizen by virtue of legislation. As a result, clearly this is not what the founders meant when they established the natural-born citizen requirement, Article 2 of the U.S. Constitution, 237 years ago. The USA was settled, founded, and built by legal immigrants. It was then, as it is now, a nation populated by people from all over the globe, including the founders themselves, who had to be exempted from the natural-born citizen clause by the language, or a citizen of the United States at the time of the adoption of this Constitution, as they were made citizens via the adoption of the Constitution itself. In researching Kamala Harris's life, I can confirm as fact the following key points. Kamala Harris was born in Oakland, California, October 20th, 1964. Her father, Donald Harris, was and remains a legal citizen of Jamaica. Her mother, Shyamala Gopalan, was and remained until her death a legal citizen of India. Well, but wasn't she part of a British colony, which would make her a British citizen as well? Both parents were visiting and college professors, her father an economist, her mother a biologist. Both parents were a member of the Communist Party USA. Both parents were active with Donald Worden, a.k.a. Khalid al-Mansour. The Communist Party activities involved the DSAUSA, Democratic Socialist of America. Kamala Harris is not black. She was born Jamaican Indian. Her parents married in 1963 and divorced in 1971. After the divorce, when Kamala was just 7, they moved to Canada. Kamala was raised in Canada until she graduated high school. The family also spent most times in a number of other countries during her raising, not the USA. Kamala's stories about her USA raising are false, and she was raised in Canada. Kamala returned to the USA to enter college after high school in Canada. There is no record of either parent ever naturalizing to become U.S. citizens. Kamala finished dead last in the 2020 DNC presidential primaries, the first to drop out. Kamala had less than 1% support from her own party in 2020. Over 14 million Democrats voted and nominated Joe Biden for 2024 presidential candidate. No one has voted for Kamala Harris for president as of this writing. Kamala is not a natural-born citizen eligible for the office of president or vice president, nor was that crack smoker with the floppy ears and a pockmarked face. You know, that poo pusher, Barack Hussein Obama. For those of you who think you need the Supreme Court or some anti-American Harvard or Yale expert to tell you what natural-born citizen means, well defined in every dictionary, the U.S. Supreme Court has already ruled on the matter at least 4 times in the 1800s. 1. The Venus case, 1814. 2. Shanks versus DuPont, 1830. 3. Minor versus Happerstead, 1874. 4. United States versus Wong Kim Ark, 1898. While none of these cases were specifically about Article 2 eligibility for office, they were about legal citizenship. And in each case, the Supreme Court referenced the correct source of the term natural-born citizen in Article 2 Vitalis Treatise, the Law of Nations. To summarize, the children of legal citizens are natural-born citizens, are true citizens via true birthright. Children of legal citizen parents born in a country are natural-born citizens of the country, because in order to be of the country, it is necessary that a person be born of a father who is a citizen. Well, Obama's father wasn't a citizen, if that was his father. If he or she is born thereof a foreigner, it will be only the place of his or her birth, and not his or her country. Section 212. We have observed above 212 that they have a right to enter into a society of which their fathers were members. In Kamala's case, Kamala's parents could have claimed legal citizenship in Jamaica for her on this basis. This means that Kamala is a U.S. citizen by virtue of the 14th Amendment, a mass naturalization amendment granting legal citizenship status to former slave families, following the 13th Amendment in the Dred Scott ruling in 1857. Harris is a citizen by virtue of legislative process known as our naturalization process. Therefore, she is not a citizen by virtue of nature, but as a result of legislative action. If the 14th Amendment did not exist, she would not be a legal citizen of the U.S. at all. A time to challenge. President Trump not only has a right and legal standing to challenge Harris's eligibility on this basis, but he also has, as an American leadership obligation to do so, on behalf of all American citizens who want to end the past practice of allowing non-natural-born citizens to occupy the Oval Office. You mean like that fag with the floppy ears and a pockmarked face, that half-baked nigger? A proper legal challenge should be filed immediately with the U.S. Supreme Court under emergency original jurisdiction of the court against the Democratic Party for failing to properly vet their unelected 2024 presidential presumed nominee, Kamala Harris, and the Harris campaign for putting forth a fraudulent candidate for the highest political office in the land. Should Trump file such a challenge with the court would have to consider the challenge quickly ahead of the elections, and they would also have to review the historical background of article requirement for office, as well as past Supreme Court cases involving the subject. In my opinion, there is no saving the United States constitutional representative republic without saving the Oval Office from ongoing foreign occupation. Nothing could possibly be of more critical to the future of our country, and the clock is ticking. When writing this piece, I decided to do a fresh internet search regarding Kamala's parents, and this was the first thing that came up, reportedly determined by artificial intelligence software. Shamala Goplin naturalization. Based on the provided information, Shamala Goplin, the mother of Vice Presidential Kamala Harris, was a natural-born citizen of India. She was born on December 17, 1938, in Madras Presidency, British India, present-day Chenali, Tamil Nadu, India, to P.V. Goplin, a civil servant, and Rajam, her mother. As a natural-born citizen of India, Shamala Goplin did not require naturalization to become a U.S. citizen. Instead, she immigrated to the United States and became a U.S. citizen through the process of naturalization. Key points. Shamala Goplin was born in India and was a natural-born citizen of India. She immigrated to the United States and became a U.S. citizen through naturalization. There is no information available on her specific naturalization process to date. As Kamala Harris's mother, Shamala Goplin, a U.S. citizenship was acquired through her own naturalization, not through her husband's naturalization or any other means. So I researched official immigration records and found no immigration papers on either of Kamala's parents. This is not simply about the absolute fraud, Kamala Harris. This is about foreign occupation of our Oval Office and the silent coup of our country. The practice of letting those with evil intent destroy our country piece by piece must end. I remain hopeful that the American people will end it peacefully via legitimate elections. Well, you need to repost this. You need to pass it off to your like-minded friends. You need to send a copy to your worthless representatives. And if you know how to get a copy of this to Trump, please do so. He has to act on this, and act on it now. Tell me where I'm wrong. You can't, can you? And Barack, he needs to be put on trial for having usurped the Oval Office, and if found guilty of treason and sedition, he needs to be executed. That's just sort of what I think.